change this government. My name is Blaise Zambia.
We have self-scattered individuals. And that is why, under the direction of the Commander-in-Chief, we have, as a lead element, the Special Forces. There is a reason for us to commit Special Forces. There is a reason. Ordinarily, I would have asked the brigade commander to get some of his troops with Zambia Air Force and go and deal with the situation. The army commander is not saying, as part of a joint interagency operation, I will go in Mufumbwe and open fire at Engo. We have targets that we are going to eradicate. And if anybody, honorable minister, who is going to make a mistake of pointing a gun at the Special Forces, we will get rid of him. We will get rid of him. When I was saying there will be consequences and loss of life, when the bullet leaves the barrel, we have no control over it. It will hit this guy, it will go to the next guy, and obviously we expect an injury. Honorable Minister, you know that we're not going there and start killing people anyhow. We have our own targets, and those targets, we shall eradicate them. We will eradicate them. The directives from the Commander-in-Chief are very straightforward. To exterminate illegal miners. And we shall do that step by step. We don't intend to use force, but obviously when necessary, that is our business, to use force. And I do know there will be consequences in that direction, such as injuries, loss of life, but there's no option available. We're also reminded with the impunity to disobedience of law and order by the illegal miners themselves. We will not allow that impunity to continue, and it can never continue. The underlying assumptions with illegal mining is that it attracts illegal immigrants, and we're also interested in illegal immigrants. Of course, there is fog and friction in Mufumbwe, where we have been for a while, and starting this week, probably shall be using force to exterminate, fumigate all illegal miners. Of course, there's a lot of coordination and interacting between ourselves and the Ministry of Mines. Today I'm expecting a call from the Minister of Mines, or I will call him, in order for us to coordinate. I seem to be preempting this because our next destination is bigger, and that will be on the peers for us to coordinate on what we do with the Pika. Obviously, the template of Mufumbwe may be different from Pika, but there will be similarities in the lines of operations, or in the concept of operations. I know that this nuisance has been with Central Province for a long time, but I'm sure it is time for us, we brought it to a dead end, because all of us are like the fact of the consequences of illegal mining, and that is to say, illegal extraction of natural resources, which all of us are entitled to, protection of the environment, returning the strata of the soil community.
Thank you very much. Welcome to today's broadcast. Today, Friday, you could be with your family, you could have gone out, but whatever it is, let's have the discussion. This is a discussion we should have had yesterday, but I was being featured on KBN TV with Pastor Kennedy Mwamba. Thank you very much, Pastor Kennedy Mwamba. We discussed many issues. Today, we are focused on illegal mining. What must be done? With the discovery of gold, especially across the country, from Mufumbwe to Kasempa to Mwinilunga, Solwezi, going all the way from Mukushi, to Petauke, to Nyimba, Chongwe, Mumbwa, Nangoma, to Vubwi. There is an outbreak of gold and gold discovery. Remember Kasenseli in Mwinilunga, which in a short time attracted over 25,000 miners, and government had to close it off. fence it off and implore ZCCMIH to form Zam Gold, that it should mine with a cooperative in the area and involving local traditional authorities, mine it professionally, sell the commodity to Bank of Zambia for Bank of Zambia to build its reserves in gold. Remember, currently we have Bank of Zambia that keeps a stash of cash as gold reserves. Up to $5 billion so far is being kept as foreign reserves and as a shield, for importation. This is like 5-6 months of importation that Bank of Zambia has. The best way to keep foreign reserves is gold, nothing else. Gold, you can't beat gold. The largest holders of gold don't even have gold mines. There are countries like France and the United Kingdom that have no single gold mine but have the largest gold reserves held by their central bank. It can be done. So today, I want to invite you into this matter of illegal mining, especially with the remarks that have been made by the Army Commander, Lieutenant General Geoffrey Ziele, who's excited the country with very controversial remarks, where he used dangerous words like he will exterminate and fumigate illegal miners. What must be done? That's a discussion we are having today. I want you to join me in proposing solutions. I did an article earlier in the day where I stated, let me just read it out, because we're always condemned that we're not providing solutions to the current and prevailing problems, and we are just quick to condemn. What must be the solution? What must we do? So I wrote this piece. Let me find time just to glean over it and share with you my proposed solutions. I said, first of all, because illegal mining has escalated and is being driven by the recent gold rush, and the gold that are being discovered are not being mined properly. First of all, for those that have licenses, they have exploration licenses, but they are engaged in full mining. When you have an exploration license, you're not supposed to engage in mining. You're just supposed to explore, establish where the reserves are, and make a fresh application for a mining license so that environmental requirements are met, that you meet labor laws, that you meet state regulations. But in Zambia, what we have now seen is that persons and individuals and businesses are using an exploration license as a mining license. They are depositing large, machinery, employing people, and engaging in full-scale mining. That in itself is highly irregular. An exploration license simply means that explore, establish what reserves you have, then come back to us. We grant you a mining license. To grant you a mining license, you need various approvals. Are you registered with the Zambia Revenue Authority? Are you, as the Environmental Association of Zambia, the Zambia Environmental Management Authority, ZEMA? We are used to the odd regulation. Has it approved? Because most of these gold mining that is taking place has polluted rivers in Kasempa, in Mpika, in Mufumbwe, in Vubwi, in Petauke, in Nyimba and Chongwe. The streams are being polluted, and these streams are lifelines for our communities that live around those areas. The hard metals they are using, such as mercury, in processing gold, in refining gold, also are impacting dangerously on our environment. And this is being done using an exploration license, not a mining license. So that in itself is a danger. One of the ways to regularize the process is that. So share the broadcast. I'm going to read out my proposed solutions and then come to the current crisis, then invite you to speak through, to contribute and phone.
we have sophisticated individuals. And that is why, under the direction of the Commander-in-Chief, we have as a lead element the Special Forces. There is a reason for us to commit Special Forces. There is a reason. Ordinarily, I would have asked the brigade commander to get some of his troops with Zambia Air Force and go and deal with the situation. The Army commander is not saying, as part of a joint interagency operation, I will go in the Mufumbe and open fire at enemy. We have targets that we are going to eradicate. And if anybody, honorable minister, who is going to make a mistake of pointing a gun at the Special Forces, we will get rid of him. We will get rid of him. When I was saying there will be consequences and loss of life, when the bullet leaves the barrel, we have no control over it. It will hit this guy, it will go to the next guy, and obviously we expect an injury. Honorable Minister, you know that we're not going there and start killing people anyhow. We have our only targets, and those targets, we shall eradicate them. We will eradicate them by any means necessary.
Fellowship in the will, Amayo, Benedict Mwamba, Abomino in the Lisa, Assembly. Mweva mjina Nemri Kristu, mwa Archdiocese wa Kasama. Na tuyibimbe pamo Mukulosha, Benedict Mwamba, abali abasano babachiti mukulu kabiri natutume n'amashuri ya Kirigisi ifo bonse mu Archdiocese wa Kasama kuli mwine Lubemba n'olukwa lwako n'Olubemba lonse akulufya lwamayi wesu abonesa asendele okutina mu busanzu bw'omusu ile somwine uwaishibwe nshita akatufuga mu kyalo ele kabiri ile somwine kuwaishiba ifyo aba n'okutulambula ng'atufumya muno mu kyalo esuubiro twakwata okuti nkwata empera ya buli lweso ekyo natumulombe okuti akoshe mwene Lubemba n'olukwa n'Olubemba lonse baloshe bwino amayo ga Benedict Mwamba ab'omwine w'Indelesa Assembly.
The directives from the Commander-in-Chief are very straightforward. To exterminate illegal miners. And we shall do that step by step. We don't intend to use force, but obviously when necessary, that is our business, to use force. And I do know there will be consequences in that direction, such as injuries, loss of life, but there's no option available. We're also reminded with the impunity to disobedience of law and order by the illegal miners themselves, we will not allow that impunity to continue, and it can never continue. The underlying assumptions with illegal mining is that it attracts illegal immigrants, and we're also interested in illegal immigrants. Of course, there is fog and friction in Mufumbe, where we have been for a while, and starting this week, probably shall be using force to exterminate, fumigate all illegal miners. Of course, there's a lot of coordination and interaction between ourselves and the Ministry of Mines. Today I'm expecting a call from the Minister of Mines, or I will call him, in order for us to coordinate. I seem to be preempting this because our next destination is bigger, and that will be on the peers for us to coordinate on what we do with the picker. Obviously, the template of Mufumbe may be different from Pika, but there will be similarities in the lines of operations, or indeed concept of operations. I know that this nuisance has been with Central Province for a long time, but I'm sure it is time for us. We brought it to a dirty end because all of us are like the fact of the consequences of illegal mining, and that is to say, illegal extraction of natural resources, which all of us are entitled to, protection of the environment, returning the strata of the soil community.
Thank you very much. And today we are discussing the phenomenon of illegal mining, what must be done. A lot of people are discussing the crisis and had earlier proposed the solution. First, number one is to regularize it. Number two, there's a great abuse of the exploration license. This, before we go to the so-called illegal miners, the established legally registered entities are abusing this process, and they're abusing it greatly. You cannot have an exploration license but proceed to engage in full mining. That way you are exploiting resources, you are remaining unaccountable, and the environmental degradation you are doing, you may not be accountable. Share the broadcast, share it. This is a very emotive topic, and I know it's Friday, but share the broadcast and tell us where you are calling from. In the past, we called upon government to immediately allow ZCCMIH to take over, especially the recent gold discoveries that have been done in Impika, in Kasenseli, in Mwinilunga, in Kasempa. We've said allow ZCCMIH to immediately move in. ZCCMIH can then organize the security, can fence off the area, and if they need support from law enforcement agencies, they can call upon it. And another matter is then they can engage the local and traditional authorities and sometimes the youths around that area to form cooperatives and begin to mine, especially the alluvial gold, the one that's just found on the surface, before they engage in full-blown mining. That the benefits immediately begin to accrue, not just to the country, but also to the community where the gold has been found. ZCCMIH remain an outsider to this process. Do you know why the CMIH remains an outsider? Because the politicians and the party cadres want chaos. The chaos is what makes them then go in, do illegal mining. The politicians give them generator sets, give them picks, shovels, and sometimes they send in yellow machines to allow the kids, the young people to mine quickly, get that gold and sell it to either the Chinese, the Sudanese, or Tanzanian that have invaded the space. The complaint by the army commander that there are a lot of foreigners that have come is a similar situation like when we discovered emerald and the area remained unresolved. Everyone was engaged in mining emeralds, and the Senegalese came. They camped in Kitwe and in Dola to buy then the emerald from the illegal miners who were mining it in Lufwanyama. You may not remember, but we had this serious phenomenon where these Senegalese carrying a lot of money just invaded Kitwe. We lost our women. There was just a huge phenomenon in the 80s when we discovered emerald in Lufwanyama area, and illegal mining took over. This is what has happened. So the buyers are Chinese, Sudanese, Tanzanians who have come with a lot of money to buy that gold, wherever it is, whether it is in Mufumbwe, Kasempa, Vubwi, Nyimba, Mumbwa, Nangoma, wherever it is, they are here to buy that. So using military might is not what helped Dr. Kaunda. What Dr. Kaunda did was to regularize the mining. He fenced off where the emerald was, excluded now everyone, and sentenced the CCM to mine professionally. And that's how we ended the illegal mining of emeralds. And when President Chiluba came, he actually now even gave licenses to small and medium enterprises to mine the emerald. Most of them failed to do so. You know why? Because of the capital requirement. And many of them would get licenses as a holding way, looking for an investor who would then come and mine. In fact, for me, I've proposed for the emeralds, we just need these two major companies that are in Lufwanyama to take over all those licenses and incorporate or pay off the license holders. So that we mine that emerald, also we mine it profitably. Because many people are sitting on licenses that they are not using. While Grizzly and the Gemstone mine, owned partly by ZCCM are mining. So I think we need to aggregate those licenses. They've not been profitable. People have been holding them as in a speculative manner. So what you do is, we've learned already when we had illegal mining, when we had an outbreak of emeralds in Lufanyama. How did we deal with that situation? Many people forget that it was a huge, both economic and social crisis. It was also a migration issue, because we had an invasion of Malian and Senegalese that had the market for emerald. Zambians didn't even know where to sell the emerald. We didn't even have a presence. But what did we do? President Dr. Kenneth David Kaunda deployed ZCCM at the time. ZCCM fenced off the area and began commercial mining. And that's how then ZCCM began, through its metal exchange, began to sell these gemstones abroad. And that immediately killed the illegal mining. And the Senegalese and Malians and others disappeared. We already have solutions of what was done in the past. So share the broadcast as I keep on giving you tidbits of solutions from the past and proposed solution, not the using the brute force of the defense forces, not allowing the army deployed. We've seen how ZNS has failed to curb the smuggling. It even becomes coordinated, where ZNS officers participate in the smuggling. ZNS has failed to curb the so-called smuggling. It, in fact, just takes away lives of our young people that are involved in this. Use of the army should be a last resort. It should not be a first resort.
The directives from the Commander-in-Chief are very straightforward: to exterminate illegal miners. And we shall do that step by step. We don't intend to use force, but obviously when necessary, that is our business, to use force. And I do know there will be consequences in that direction, such as injuries, loss of life, but there's no option available. We're also reminded with the impunity to disobedience of law and order by the illegal miners themselves. We will not allow that impunity to continue, and it can never continue. The underlying assumptions with illegal mining is that it attracts illegal immigrants, and we're also interested in illegal immigrants. Of course, there's fog and friction in Mufumbe, where we have been for a while, and starting this week, probably shall be using force to exterminate, fumigate all illegal miners. Of course, there's a lot of coordination and interaction between ourselves and the Ministry of Mines. Today I'm expecting a call from the Minister of Mines, or I will call him, in order for us to coordinate. I seem to be preempting this because our next destination is bigger, and that will be on the peers for us to coordinate on what we do with the Pika. Obviously, the template of Mufumbe may be different from Pika, but there will be similarities in the lines of operations, or indeed concept of operations. I know that this nuisance has been with Central Province for a long time, but I'm sure it is time for us. We brought it to a dead end because all of us are like the fact of the consequences of illegal mining, and that is to say illegal extraction of natural resources, which all of us are entitled to, protection.
We are discussing the phenomenon of illegal mining that has beset our country. A lot of fears of what happens to the illegal mining in DRC, in Liberia, and people are trying to justify the deployment of security forces. Today we are discussing proposed solutions. Number one, we've said regularize, stop legal entities that are using exploration licenses to engage in fully fledged mining. Number two, set on ZCCM and ZAM Gold to begin the process of taking over these mines, go into agreements with local traditional authorities where the gold has been discovered. Of course, you can also engage for those finding alluvial gold. You can engage youths into forming cooperatives and you begin to supervise the processing. But ZCCMIH immediately gets the gold and should be declared. ZAM Gold should be declared as the only buyer in our country. So you remove immediately these foreigners that have come. And if ZAM Gold is engaged in refining gold, and you know, refineries for gold are not even very expensive. You have them at First Quantum, and I think 2 or 3 have. You put up a proper gold processing plant that then should sell to Bank of Zambia. The billions that that Bank of Zambia has begins to transform the reserves that ZCCMI will be buying or mining, with Bank of Zambia being the immediate buyer to build our gold reserves. So allow ZCCMIH not only to take over the processes, but allow ZCCMIH to be the only buyer. When Ghana did this last year, they've never gotten money from the illegal gold mining, but when they put up these measures in 2 quarters only, which is 6 months, Ghana realized $5.2 billion. So there's a lot of leakages of money when you don't take care of it. You leave the chaos as it is. You don't deploy the army, no. Ghana didn't deploy the army, no. It just regularized, banned buyers of gold in the country, foreigners, exclude them. The way you can exclude them from making bricks, from selling tomatoes, or from holding these, how can a Chinese have a store at Soweto? So when you make those measures, you immediately empower a legitimate market locally. Another one is that, of course, I've stated that ZAM Gold should then be declared as the official buyer of gold in Zambia. And then you expand significantly the role of Bank of Zambia, because it already has a domestic buying gold initiative. So now you have gold that has a market with Bank of Zambia. The gold must be processed into proper bars, processed and supervised, and eliminate all corruption. The other key one, make public the geo-mapping and mineral finding survey that was being done. Remember, the US Geo Survey was involved, the British Geo Survey was involved, and First Quantum has also been doing, and another company, a private company, have been doing mapping of where our resources, especially gold, copper, cobalt, and these rare earth metals are. There's been a mapping survey that has been done to know where our minerals are. What we understand, and sadly so, is that government have taken those reports and now are using the army to empty those lands so then they can give licenses to those persons who they know. They could be foreign or local. That is what is spawning anger in our people. You do a geological survey, you do a mineral survey, you know where the minerals are, but you keep the information private. You don't subject it to a public process. You don't invite tender process to the survey. And then you deploy the army to empty the lands where the gold has been found. No. That means you are using state apparatus for private and commercial interests. It should be the other way around. The army should guard national interest. Not you want the lands exposed, emptied, then you give exploration and mining licenses to the people that you alone have in mind, because you have all the information. You have all the new geo maps that have mapped our country, and you have not made that information public. You have not subjected that process to a public process where our people can tender, both local and international, can tender, that your maps are showing that you have gold and diamonds in Western Province. Can I apply for such a block? They pay requisite fees and there's a tender process. But currently, there is no tender process. Currently, you and I don't even have the findings that have been discovered in the last 2 years when this extensive work has been done in our country. It's those issues. You have all the information and you unleash the army to empty the land so that you can give the licenses to people of your choice. These are natural resources that belong to our country. Any exploitation, any extraction must be done within the law, must be done properly. Airports are being set up. Kalumbila have their own airstrip in Kalumbila. The Solwezi Airport literally is being run by Face Quantum. Where is our Zambia Revenue Authority? These entities are buying gold, they are mining gold, they are processing gold, and those are exit points. Those are exit points. They are taking away this resource. For me, I would like to have a multi-agency led by ZRA, not the Zambia Army, led by ZRA to man the airstrip at Kalumbila, to man the airstrip at Lumwana, to man the Solwezi Airport. There should be well-qualified staff that should see what is going on, that should list it, and so that we can appropriately get the required taxes from that gold that is being mined. They are not putting gold on the trucks that go to South Africa. They are putting copper and cobalt on the trucks. But gold and silver, which are byproducts of copper processing and copper smelting, are then trafficked through the airports. Who is manning those airports? Who's manning the declaration of that gold from Northwestern Province? Remember the late Chief Pande, who was Deputy Minister of Mines, and he became a chief in Mbala. He used to say, Zambians, you are abusing the term copper mine. He declared that the mines in Northwestern Province should not be called copper mines. He said they should be called gold mines. And don't let them call them copper mines, because then they are blindfolding you. They are letting you think that this is just copper that is being mined. He says, how can you have such a huge percentage in processing as a byproduct? It should be the main product. And I like, he was a geologist, he was a meteorologist, he was a mining engineer, and Chief, Honorable Mpande, who later became a chief, Dr. Mpande, Matthias Mpande, I agreed with him that let's call them gold mines. When you call them copper, people think there is no gold, but gold is significantly being mined in very large percentum, that they should be called gold mines. So who's taking that gold? Who's taking stock of that gold? Who is checking? Is there a what capacity? Do they have just one officer? For example, we know how emeralds are being trafficked from Kitwe. They only have sometimes one officer who can be threatened, and ZRA has a habit of changing them quickly. Why? So that the emerald can be trafficked free of charge without these mines having consequences. And they usually put some senior officials on payroll, on payroll where they are illegally getting this. So we need to strengthen those mechanisms before you bring and deploy the mines. And the issues that have beset the mining cadastre, the system is corrupted. I've seen various court actions by Chinese, by Lebanese, by some Zambians. As soon as they discover the gold and they apply for exploration license, in many cases they've spent $1 million, $10 million with the exploration license. Now when they apply for a mining license, mining cadastre is revoking that license and quickly give it to unknown people. Of course they are known, of course they are corrupt, it's a corrupt process. So you let an investor invest in exploration of those resources, sometimes up to $10 million. When they discover the reserves and they declare to you, now you use that information to cancel that license of an investor who has spent $1 million, $5 million, $10 million of their own money in exploration. You only have your send Sangwapo. And this scheme, the politicians are at it. The senior directors at mining cadastre are part of it. The people at State House have been accused as part of it. Every time there's this finding, especially the Chinese, whenever China deport after spending $10 million, they even revoke his immigration status at Pange Chongo. Why? Because he has invested and he has found this reserve. And now he wants to go into full production, following the law. And then they revoke that license. And that license, when it's revoked, is given to another, one of them, to then exploit that discovery. All these issues are encouraging lawlessness and corruption. So the corruption occurring at mining cadastre, we are fully aware of it, and it must be stopped. The transporters of copper and cobalt are not our... Look at who is transporting copper for First Quantum? Foreign South African companies. Who is transporting Barrick Gold's, Lumwana's copper? Foreigners. Even transporting Shuamwe bantu, transporting. Echo na kukongo baledi lati mwema Zambians ni mchita transport copper ya Congo, and our drivers are being beaten and being killed. That matter is an emotive issue. I found it also in South Africa, where they said you cannot have South African trucks driven by Zambian drivers. Of course, the employers are the reason. They would think that South Africans were lazy, they were not disciplined. Zambians and Congolese were very disciplined drivers. So they would employ Zambian drivers in South African companies. Similarly, you cannot have truckers in Zambia who have invested a lot of money. They can't transport your fuel, they can't transport your copper. What are we doing as a country? It is all these issues. In short, what I'm advocating, as you have seen, is a comprehensive solution to mining and illegal mining in our country. You cannot just send the force of the army there. And in many cases, you want to get buyers. These are just mere buyers. These guys coming from Tanzania, from DRC, from Somali, from Sudan, are mere buyers. Illegal mining is taking place. There is no coordinated market for gold in Zambia. There is no structure. We don't even have a gold market locally. And you don't have an established buyer for gold. So who do you think is buying if you have an Abaleimba? Who do you think is buying? It's a Tanzanian, it's a Sudanese. It's a DRC guys that have specialized in this area. Resolve that issue, allow Zamgold to immediately become the first resort buyer of all gold that is being mined. And don't ask questions like Ghana did. Don't ask where is this gold from. Establish if the gold is okay. Because regularizing the subsector takes a long time, sometimes 2, 3, 4 years. So for now, you simply say Zamgold will buy gold. If it's genuine, they'll buy it. They will not ask you where it is from. Then you begin to kick in other established sites that have gold. You deploy Zamgold. They take over the process. They liaise with communities and sometimes coordinate with cooperatives and begin to mine in a professional manner. You take over the industry to the formal sector that our country can benefit from it. I am opening phone lines. If you have any contribution to this issue, let me hear from you. Share the broadcast. We are discussing illegal illegal mining in Zambia and what can be done. And I'll tell you about what's happening in the DRC, and I'll tell you about what's happening elsewhere.
The directives from the Commander-in-Chief are very straightforward: to exterminate illegal miners. And we shall do that step by step. We don't intend to use force, but obviously when necessary, that is our business, to use force. And I do know there will be consequences in that direction, such as injuries, loss of life, but there's no option available. We're also reminded with the impunity to disobedience of law and order by the illegal miners themselves. We will not allow that impunity to continue, and it can never continue. The underlying assumptions with illegal mining is that it attracts illegal immigrants, and we're also interested in illegal immigrants. Of course, there is fog and friction in Mufumbe, where we have been for a while And starting this week, probably shall be using force to exterminate, fumigate all illegal miners. Of course, there's a lot of coordination and interacting between ourselves and the Ministry of Mines. Today I'm expecting a call from the Minister of Mines, or I will call him, in order for us to coordinate. I seem to be preempting this because our next destination is bigger, and that will be on the peers for us to coordinate on what we do with the Pika. Obviously, the template of Mufumbe may be different from Pika, but there will be similarities in the lines of operations, or indeed concept of operations. I know that this nuisance has been with Central Province for a long time, but I'm sure it is time for us, we brought it to a dead end, because all of us are like the fact of the consequences of illegal mining, and that is to say, illegal extraction of natural resources, which all of us are entitled to, protection of the environment. We have sophisticated individuals, and that is why, under the direction of the Commander-in-Chief, we have as a lead element the Special Forces. There is a reason for us to commit Special Forces. There is a reason. Ordinarily, I would have asked the brigade commander to get some of his troops with Zambia Air Force and go and deal with the situation. The army commander is not saying, as part of the joint interagency operation, I will go in the Mufumbe and open fire at anybody. We have targets that we are going to eradicate. And anybody, honorable minister, who is going to make a mistake of pointing a gun at the Special Forces, will get rid of him. We will get rid of him. When I was saying there will be consequences and loss of life, when the bullet leaves the barrel, we have no control over it. It will hit this guy, it will go to the next guy, and obviously we expect an injury. Honorable Minister, you know that we're not going there and start killing people anyhow. We have our only targets, and those targets, we shall eradicate them. We will eradicate them by any means necessary.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We have our callers. You can now call. We are discussing the case of illegal mining. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling from. Njitayama balishani.
Njitaye. Pamalilanga makuno kusanfya. Nomba nde kushako question yalaisa kuyimwene. Mwetu atwele ku masambiro bamu. Bushe inchito ya abashirika. Tento ya kupokolola ekyalo nga kyayingirwa n'ebirwani. Bushe n'inchito ya mukusansa abashirike balaya mukutasha abantu abekala kyalo.
Emkwa yona laba asuka.
Nikwiso kama chimwene poko nomba mwala imina abantu benu mtu wakati mune pokolola abantu benu ero nomba pamwala benu ebo nchatala mona kuchamusanga baba enjita.
Thank you very much. I'll answer you. Thank you very much. We'll tell you what the Constitution provides. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Anonymous, Mr. Mwamba.
Anonymous, make your contributions.
Yes, you know, Mr. Mwamba, mwandi ninda bwasana chabulanda, kuchalo cha Zambia chabulanda. You can imagine, you know, the whole commando system rise against innocent citizens. Bali bapoka malaiti, ifintu muchalo fyali bipa. Surely speaking, via kumaini mwaebe mishima commando. How chansoni? Wale tuseka wanensu. This is not fair, Wakainde Ichidema. This is not fair. It is what you promised the Zambian people. Kuwafutukira. I'm sure people understand that language. Kuwafutukira. Abantu wabe wanunga na isaine nkamchitire finefi. Iya wafika wapenya fyonse fintu wafika fyonse mino yobe. Ako washukira tibaliye kona wabutukira ko kwati ni omuntu kwati ali bamunsala nobali dia mune fintu dia afika ko kyonse fya muamina Oh, this is very unfair. And pachintu chimbo chonde for kwa nkwipsha kwa Mr. Mwamba. Ushenti ya shire ya kuisa, isho wale ta generate by government. Ngamalolesha kumisonko shonsi balirunde mitengo. Ngamwaya kuli road tax balirunda. Toget balirunda. Even toilet fee balirunda. Council and toilet sayanga mwaya balirunda. Kushitepo kuma light balirunda. When you talk of connecting a light from the pole nearest pole kuya panga and balirunda ishonse shimpia shia kuisa batuweko kushe bakolonga nikatoka bonjo kumaleko kuma elections nangu bakolonga nikatibale lyabeka bantu ishompia machali kwa tenchito ngashira bombo mulimo wa mano miti mushipatanga tashire shota ama schools ngibale kulirapo fisi punga ile ya bwino ku bantu nomba na mataba abantu baba kongola bashitisha n'empye bayikalirapo up to now tabapira abantu empye nomba umuntu alali malisa ifi yakulya fyala chipadisa amuntu amuna bampoka amataba bakano kumpere empye atikandi yakanja trisi nchaye kufera nka gold mining so that nke seri mako nako bamkonkera ko baya mu mishama soja ifi ala stefana lale kirishia ko fya geni mama soldiers tamwa kwa tension ni uruse ngamwali wa praise ni supply.
Oh, yeah, but I think not Tumfefe Walanda. Thank you very much. Many are asking, what's the role of the Zambia Army? Well, the Zambia Army's role, they are part of the Zambia Defense Forces, which comprises the Zambia Army, National Service, and the Zambia Air Force. And as part of the Zambia Defense Forces, their role is to protect especially the territorial integrity of our country and the sovereignty of our country. The issues inland, usually interior, that's why you have the Minister of Home Affairs and Interior or Internal Security. In other countries, they call it Interior Affairs. That's done by the Zambia Police. Unless your public law and order has collapsed, where you have civil unrest, civil conflict, armed conflict, when internally your system has collapsed, then you can bring in the might of your defense forces, the Zambia Army, Zambia Air Force. But Zambia is at peace. We do not have challenges. We've been informed that a special unit of the Zambia Army, the Zambia Army, for those that follow issues of security, peace and security, which I've been privileged to study at master's level. So even when I discuss issues of illegal mining, at least I know what happened in the DRC. I'm aware of what's happening in Mozambique, in northern Mozambique. We know what happened in Liberia, in Sudan. We know what's happening in the eastern DRC and the conflict. So the Zambia Army has 3 infantry brigades. The 1st brigade that is found in Lusaka, 2nd brigade in Kabwe, and the 3rd brigade. Then it has units. These are specialized units, like the 64th Armored Tank Regiment. It has the 17th Cavalry Regiment, which is also an armored reconnaissance system. It also has a 10th Medium Artillery Regiment, broken down into 2 artillery battalions, multiple rocket launchers battalion. Then it has the 1st Engineer Regiment. Usually, I think it's that engineering unit is found in Muflira. And it has construction regiments. Like ZNS, they can move in anywhere and construct a bridge that has been washed away. When we say the president, and thanks that the head of state is back, when we say the president must recognize that we have a crisis, we have floods that have washed away streams, rivers, bridges, and crossing points, the president can deploy both the Zambia Army or ZNS to go and erect these bridges at short notice. They are they've specialized units under especially the Zambia Army. It has a mechanized battalion, then it has regiments, 1st battalion up to 9th battalion. Then it has a first commando battalion, the special forces, the one that the army commander was boasting that he is deploying to illegal miners. Innocent people you want to deploy. Is there public order that has broken down in our country? Why are you deploying these forces out, at civilian and civilian processes? Warning, warning, warning. You should never allow your army commander such leverage. You may just spawn more issues. You just may spawn more issues. These are operators you don't see on cameras. As soon as you begin to see the army commander on camera very regularly, please do not politicize their role. Do not politicize, do not create a cult around them. Those things have unintended consequences. And professionally, Zambia has not reached a level where we should deploy the army on a problem that is just emerging. This is just a problem that requires police. And Jack Mwimbu and his team, Jack Mwimbu is in charge of home affairs and is in charge of internal security. It's within his portfolio to marshal the police, the paramilitary units, and other units that he has to go and quell that. Even as an intelligence system at the Zambia police, they can quell that. The military should merely be backup. They shouldn't come in an internal manner. And like I'm saying, law and order has not broken down to justify the deployment internally of the army. Remember that our president here in the United States, Donald Trump, has been trying to deploy in crime-ridden areas. He's been trying to deploy the army, and is met by lawsuits and lawsuits. Why? The role of the army is to protect your sovereignty. Your sovereignty, the entire nation, state, and government of Zambia. If it's under attack, usually from external forces, then you deploy your defense forces, which constitutes land-based organization like the Zambia Army, then the Air Force, ZNS, and others. You deploy them to protect the sovereignty of the country. If there is internal rebellion, armed conflict in the country, yes, you can deploy the army to come and help your regular forces, your regular frontline forces like the Zambia police, who deal with issues of public law and order. You do not, as a first line of defense, deploy the army as a lead agency in a civil matter involving our young people trying to earn a living. Are there foreigners that have invaded the space? Of course, because you don't have a market of buyers for that gold. Where do the kids know where Dubai is? Those kids who are mining gold, they've never known where Dubai is. So your deployment of against buyers of gold is an immigration issue. Deploy your migration unit to deal with those people that have invaded the space. The reasons the Tanzanian, Sudanese, and other nationals are in Mufumbwe, in Kasempa, in Solwezi, is they are the buyers of the gold. You have not established a mechanism to have the gold bought. That's why those elements are there. So please call. Let's hear your contribution and share the broadcast. Share the broadcast. We are discussing illegal mining. Let me hear from you. Let me hear your views on the matter. Let's hear what the Zambia Army commander said.
We have sophisticated individuals. And that is why, under the direction of the commander himself, we have as a lead element the special forces. There is a reason for us to commit special forces. There is a reason. Ordinarily, I would have asked the brigade commander to get some of his troops with Zambia Air Force and go and deal with the situation. The army commander is not saying, as part of a joint interagency operation, I will go in Mufumbwe and open fire at them. We have targets that we are going to eradicate. And anybody, honorable minister, who is going to make a mistake of pointing a gun at the special forces who will get...
Hello, caller. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Ambassador, chule ni mkwai.
Ndita Mkwai.
Chule ni mkwai na nina ipika mkwai. Ambassador, before nshira atendeka, yashfe yapa mamani yo kulikono kubika kona limi.
Nish munefo kulanda poyama.
Defo kulanda kama mai zero no kupera kufya chikoseresho pa chipani.
Okay, ambile nefya chipani yelo miyo kufyama mines.
Okay, awe pafya chipani ambassador. Ndero mbako fye ama genuine members ba PF. Awa ishi ba PF oko ya fuma. Na manifesto ya PF fo ya ishiro kwebati ya kwisa mkwafwa abantu. Ya berereko mukupanga competition yao, kupanga movement power to the people. So abo bonse abashiko kwebati PF ya imina pali power to the people abali mu PF nde balombako muibakali jawe n'emibere ya leaders. Valida valesa nokuyaba kitashani baya. Lero ekipani kirashirala. Nga twarolesha okwakunishe basate ekipani kikutali sana. Naye mupi umo nomo bapitire basate abali turanga. Nabarungu na bena basa kitashani baturanga. Na shimbi ntungurushi isha ikala mu PF. Isha ishiba manifesto ya PF. Isha chinjikana PF. So ndero mbako kuma members bambya bashala. Mwi stana nyikane, mwivepo na ma ideas yanyu. Ishibe ni PF po ya iminina. PF prapene ya iminina. Mukashita benefit. Lero fya nyunga mwapone na mo tamufishibe. Ishibe nyefyo mwa ishiba. Lero nama ordinary members. Tereka nyenyi. Panshita imoine. Mwishibe okwebati. Tuwabapa kurosha. So okurosha kwali bamwishire ingi. Video paisa ama afyero mule rosha. Nangu wachibano okuchite chibi. Warachindike chidiro. So ndero mbako na intungurushi shimbi. Pali 50 TK. Pamulandu waba lita wesu wa mundubire. Shika terefye pakanwa. Shirorere kumona wa mundubire okobaleya. Shena shikonka nyekofye muri buchinka ule minina tabuwa. Nangura abantu bambi babaseka nanguri barubinda babebe filishani. Bakwate fyo mutima uwa utungurushi. Umutima wa utungurushi kutukwa kusurwa. Bagirero cho minina kwecho abantu tabamwene nga chafika. Uri okusurwa wasurirwe, ukusekwa wasekerwe. Muchinshu bwerera no kusumburwa. So shonse ntungurushi isha iminina pali PF nde shiromba. Chikonkanya po mupashi uwa kushipa. PF tetitere ntente murando wako batina kwa ntungurushi ngeko serisha. Ayo mabimbi yalesa no kupita ya chitashani ya pita. Bakwate fe mitimesha kushipa no kuromba amano kuliresa ngefyo Solomoni arombere amano kuliresa. Beba abakupumbuka kufire ekitika. Pantu ififuma kumuruani fira moneka gwangu. Yarama ideas bakwete ayasuma beyona ola wakonge chimfurunganya chireisa. Basunge wino ma ideas aya kwebati na bena Zambia bonse bakashiningisho kwebati kwena chishinka ba PF kwali bentungurushi. Abena Zambia bakamono kwebati awe abate ntungurushi bakasoborola. Ekikoseresho nkwete ba ambassador aimwe bene ba ambassador mwikwate ekifukushi muwe first abakutekanya pako asuka. Pafintu file chitika mukatika chipani. Kona apera pa chipani ambassador then kuipa pamulandu wa mamainzi apa baambasada inengana kutumana sana aba bakomanda nangu ture bakondema bakomanda tabakweta obwafi bana kachinda bali bakaka bakweba okweba ati ba president baresita direct amajaji ifo bafuiri okupingula bana kachindoro barandire efyo bali mwene ero nokakwa basitashani bakakirwapo ilio bare pindurula baja alo bare pindurula komanda tikabyora ndefi nga judge tibafiro kumupindurula because mwe bana Zambia fa mupire mwaishiba ilio bamwamba bare myebo kweba ati democracy yaraonaika mwe yo bamwamba ba propaganda baraba komanda bakuba pali kire ekifuro nga tuwafuaya sana baba perefi nocho kupitira kumaka ya masambiriro yabo no kupitira mukubombesha kwabo because waraba komanda ila ranking bafikire ko kupitira kufuma pali bu constable no kusafika pali bu komanda no kusonto kupitira mukukosa kwabo ukwabula ubukaya kuti bakana ma instruction yafi nomba ba komanda baba salire ukubashita mu mano ukubachita favor pakweba ati bakareba pindurura ngafrafine batamvya barama jaji babika kwa majaji abakupindurura so abena Zambia nga baremyeba bamwamboko ba democracy yaraona yo bamwamba baremyebo ko bati ba ICZ bazoromese aba tabakese tupokorola mwone ni bali ba komanda bali basalira ze puppet komanda pakoe bati bamboku batungurura nga muri fifine tiyo amwe chief in commander kabyora ndevi so ulya komanda bamwambanga twarulisha nao ni mkupirwa kumo mishira bamusaliramo techa kane nga bamwe bati kachitefi because bamusalire nga mashini yakwisa mukubomvya kubera Zambia nabazaromesi nabena babasalira nga mashini yakwisa bomvya kuma election nama judges nabena babasalira nga mashini yakaka ama opponents yabo so nomba mashini alishere ko fe mucharo chinsu nifofwe bena Zambia lekuwa icharo bali chali ba wiki nomba ba president tapali omuntu obengatina so ulya komanda nangu mwinga mweba shani bali mona orakali amano techa kani fireberanda ba president bena fuiri arande fya ko bati ba president ba umfa wino fyo barefu atyachika kona perera ba mwamba nabananji bambi basose.
Thank you very much, Wamukonge. Thank you very much. Let's take more calls on this matter. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Hello, caller. Hello. Hello, you are on, caller. Hello. Hello, caller. Tell us your name and make your contributions.
Thank you, Ambassador Mwamba Sinyangwedani. Ambassador Mwamba, I think what of your question, my question is, we knew what was called ZCCM. What is so difficult about us bringing back ZCCM so that ZCCM can control our wealth and minerals? I don't understand why we should be having this thing when we have already ZCCM investment holding who can go out to all these places and then they can claim ownership because these minerals belongs to us Zambians. This is our wealth. This problem has been going on for a long time and no one wants to go deep and have a lasting solution so that Zambians can benefit from this wealth that God has blessed us with. But what we see people who are selfish They just want Ukuliapeveka, and this has been going on for a long time. But at the end of it all, you can't unleash the defense force on innocent Zambians without finding an alternative solution to the problem at hand. I was reading your article today, the one that you've written, and I said, these are the things that we need to embark on. These are the things that are going to help us than what is happening. We've heard about planes coming in Zambia. They collect our wealth and nothing happens. Then secondly, I know we don't want to talk about this issue, but for me, Ambassador, I just want your guidance. Is it in line with the party constitution, or is no longer PF? I would need your guidance on that. Thank you, Ambassador Mwamba. God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. Nyangwe from Canada. Do you have any contributions? Make the cause now. We are discussing the state of illegal mining, and I spent a lot of time to propose solution, and none of the solutions are military in any way. The solutions I'm proposing are that gold mining, should be handled by ZCCMIH. Zam Gold, the company that was created, begins to buy all our gold. The proliferation of foreigners that have invaded the value chain process because there is no gold market. So our producers of this gold, illegal or not illegal, can't all go to Dubai, and there's no market currently in our country. So these buyers who know the process are the ones that have invaded the space, the ones that the army commander is saying dangerous people have invaded the space. They are mere buyers. And I gave the example of what happened to Kajem. There was a famous Kajem crisis in Lufwanyama and Kitwe, where we had Malians and Senegalese that then were buying from illegal mining of emeralds. How was that issue resolved? We regularized the purchase of emeralds. We put up a company there, Kajem, co-owned by ZCCM, and it began to do the formal mining, and the illegal mining in Lufwanyama went away. There was now a proper process that was handling both the mining and the buying. Those are issues we have to learn even now. So, Ko, and let's hear your contribution. The people asking about the role of the Zambia Army. The Zambia Army's role is to protect the sovereignty of our country and the territorial integrity of our country. Yes, they can participate in handling internal matters, but internal matters are under Ministry of Home Affairs. With the police, they're the ones that deal with internal matters. Immigration is under internal affairs. Police is under Ministry of Home Affairs and internal affairs. They are the ones that handle internal issues. Is there a breakdown of law and order to an extent that you require a special unit of the Zambia Army to deal with a local matter? No, not at all. Not at all. And there's no justification to deploy the army. And I had advised that in the event that the president gave these directives, the role of the professionals like the Zambia Army commander is to say, no, Your Excellency, thank you for your directive, but Your Excellency, this directive can be done in this way. Maybe allow us to assess, unless our role doesn't conflict the Constitution, then we can come in. For now, this is a matter, internal matter of Ministry of Home Affairs and the police and immigration. They're the ones that should deal with this issue. And the police have adequate manpower to deal with this matter. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Hello, Ambassador. My name is Uncle J again.
Uncle J, make your contributions.
Thank you very much. To start with, I feel that, the way the Army commander actually communicated that information was quite alarming, especially to the nation, because he was not actually just addressing what he termed as they have a target. He was addressing the Zambian people, and we're a country that have not experienced chaos, if you may like. So I think the army commander would have allowed the people that should actually communicate that information. If at all we needed to know as a nation, I think the army must have the PR. If not, the Ministry of Home Affairs should have taken up that issue and communicated rightly. But when you have the commander come out like that and speak the way he spoke, it is quite terrifying. It's quite terrifying. We are not just involving here regular soldiers. We're talking about commandos. These are special units with specialized, operations. So we may not be privy to so much, but I think even then, we hear that there are a lot of foreigners that have come in, and there's a word that is saying they've come in with weapons and things like that. If that is the case, I think our police are well trained. I remember very well that URPF had equipped the police with a machinery that they can use to deal with any challenge of that sort. So are they saying that, the police have failed to deal with that issue, or there could just be something that we may not be privy to? I don't think there is war. People are still living at peace in that area. If there are those challenges, I think the police have the capacity to deal with that. Even ZNS in this case, I think we've just, this is quite alarming. The challenge with this is army have the specific, duty to the country. So when we can easily draw the army in an issue like this, it is quite worrying. Remember, Mwamba, that we are actually in an election year. And the fact that we are in election year, we look and interpret everything in the light of an election. So these are some of the things that should be worrying us. We've had situations. I remember there was a time in Kaputa area where the army, the people from Congo, rebels in that, for that matter, invaded that area. The army secretly, silently, without alarming the nation, they went and dealt with that problem, and that problem was rectified without all these challenges that have come as a result of what the army commander stated. I think they could have done that professionally. They could have done it right. On the issue of, as I conclude, on the issue of how do we deal with illegal mining, I think these things are straightforward. Where there is an illegality, it's because there is a reason or there is a ground that has allowed for such things to take place. One of the things is the bureaucracy in legalizing and obtaining licenses. Even when you are organized as a community, the bureaucracy makes it very difficult. Remember that most of the people that are going there are people that are trying to survive. And what has Ministry of Mines done in terms of educating and making sure that those people understand that regardless of your status, you have the ability or capacity, you can walk in and obtain a license and be organized in a way so that you do the mining. We know that to start with, people are there because there is nothing going on. There are no jobs for the youths. And that is their way of surviving and taking care of their families. So the government has the duty, like you rightly put it, let there be a well-organized and structured, system that will permit even a villager in that community to be able to mine and receive a license without all these technicalities and bureaucracy that comes with that. You find the people that are receiving mining licenses, Mwamba, these are the elites. In fact, they are not even in those areas. You find one person could have been owning maybe 2, 3 mining licenses. That makes it very difficult. They'll just buy machinery and give those people to work, which is not okay. So I agree with you. Our people ought to benefit from these resources, but let us have a well-structured system that will permit for everyone to mine correctly without really destroying the environment. I thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let's hear from you. We are discussing the case of illegal mining. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Hello, Ambassador. This is Mwewa from Livingston.
Yes, Mwewa.
Ambassador, ndesipira mulifya ba mtende.
Mkwai.
Ndiposhako kuti nawe karachalo. Nabonsa bali ma overseas mbonse ndi baposhako. One thing that I would want to say to abalengu fwako na Zambians is that amakape tukoitefya hapa. The vote emakatucheleko fenayo. When you look at what is happening, I'm warning from the army, the behavior from government, the behavior from police, the behavior from the courts of law. So we are fighting a battle where institutions, they want to make institutions to turn against the people of Zambia. Institutions like Zambia Army, they chingirira abantu bamulichire chalo. Evaluira abantu. And Zambia Army, whatever lifestyle they did, it comes from the taxpayer. All of us, we are financing the welfare of Zambia Army. So Zambia Army ngayaba bambo kuitaning against abantu baiforesha. What are they telling Zambia Army? Zambia Army yarikwata ama families. And Zambia Army families, they are Zambian families. The pressure that is here today is across board. Taire sala. Ngamamune future yama farmers kuno. Takuwa ile tuma farmers baku abafuma kuisa na kuisa. Bonse bari jama. So what I'm trying to say is that right now, what we need, Mwamba, we can advise these people concerning how they should handle those guys. But our guys are a planner. Whatever that we are going to say, they won't matter. You saw those examples, Muribu 7. People argued, but anyway, very rich pisha for FHP. So they have my mining and pisha. So what I'm saying is that what we need now, if we vote, our opposition leaders, if they cannot see the problem that is there right now against the people of Zambia, then I don't know what we are doing on opposition. This battle that we are fighting, Mwamba, is not a small battle. I'm a minerals, yes, now I can't couple. It's about Sendarangushan. There will never quite time here. So, what I'm trying to say, Mwamba, is that the opposition should see that there is a lot of threat on the people of Zambia. Therefore, we don't have any chance to split votes. We need each and every vote to fight this system. Because let's look at it towards the general elections. Look at behavior from the commander. Are you against Navan too? So that is a complexion. General election. I'm a soldier, very ready. So if we want to vote, our opposition people like Bamunduire, look at his interest in the presidency, whereby he is doing things that are very controversial and against the spirit of Zambian. All those efforts, for splitting our votes, why are they not learning from what this government is doing? Why can't the opposition hold hands together? We are under threat, Mwamba. Our sovereignty is under threat. That's why we are calling it Independence 2.0. I become very, very emotional.
That's true. That's true. Thank you very much. For those that are joining us, we've been discussing the issue of illegal mining, and we've been very clear what must be done. We've said allow Zamgold to come on the scene as a legitimate and only buyer of gold, like they did in Ghana, and they immediately reaped $5.2 billion within a period of 6 months. It can be done. Why do we have foreigners invading the space? These Tanzanians, Sudanese, and other people that have come. Learn from the process in the 80s when Malians and Senegalese invaded the space for emerald. What did Kaunda do? We had such a problem. Why? Because there was no buyer who could buy emeralds. That was happening around illegal mining. So the Senegalese invaded the space, and they're the only ones that knew where to sell that emerald in Hong Kong and in UK. So Dr. Kaunda set up Kajem, and Kajem took over the operations, and the illegal mining immediately ended because now Kajem could formally mine and could formally sell the emerald, and Zambia began to benefit. Many people remember the crisis we had in Lufwanyama and Kitwe area, where we had all these foreigners that even took over our women because they had so much money they were making from selling of emerald. We have the same scenario where we have gold breaking out everywhere, breaking out in Nangoma, in Mumbwa, in Lusaka, in Chongwe, in Nyimba, in Petauke, in Vubwi, in Kasempa, in Mwinilunga, in Mufumbwe. What do you do? Allow ZCCMIH to come on the scene. Allow it to be the first buyer. Ban all foreigners that are engaged in gold buying. And connect the initiative that is at the central bank, the initiative to buy local gold, processed, refined gold, and begins to build up part of the reserves. Last year, the Financial Intelligence Center said Zambia leaked up to $3.5 billion in illicit financial flows. $1.5 billion was attributable to the gold that is being taken out of the country and being sold illegally. That's $1.5 billion that can stay with the state, that can stay with Bank of Zambia and ZCCMIH. We've condemned the issue of people that have exploration licenses, but they are engaged in full-fledged mining. Government doesn't take taxes from people that are exploring, that are just doing exploration. And at this stage, the Zambia Environmental Management Agency doesn't come in because you haven't applied that you are doing full-scale mining. So two things are being done. Resources are being denied to our country and the environment is being damaged. Just check on the streams where there are these illegal gold mining or even exploration is taking place. The streams have mercury in them and other hard metals in them. Our rivers are being polluted, whether it's in Kasempa, whether it's in Impika. So allow to regularize that. The role of the Zambia Army is premature. And the army coming in an emergency, there's no emergency yet. They want to draw up a line that there are foreigners involved. Yes, the foreigners, like it was in the 80s, are here as buyers because our people that are mining gold, they have nowhere to sell it. So you have to sell it to the Chinese, to the Tanzanians, the Somalians, and Sudanese that know the market. Learn from what happened in the 80s. The role of the Zambia Army is to protect. Like I said, the Zambia Army is part of the Zambia Defense Forces. They are a land-based a part of the Defense Forces. They deal with land as a land-based military wing. The Zambia Air Force deals with the air. The role of the Zambia Defense Forces, which is Zambia Army, Zambia Air Force, and ZNS, is to protect the integrity of our country, the territorial integrity of our country, the sovereignty of our country. Do they come in internal matters? No, internal matters are with Ministry of Home Affairs and Internal Security. If it's a migration issue, the immigration unit will come in, department will come in. If it's a policing issue of public law and order, the Zambia police will come. They even have a militarized wing called paramilitary unit of the Zambia police that guard state assets, national assets. And it deals with things like that. So the deployment of the Zambia army is totally premature. And if you have an excited army commander who's trigger happy with the media, that poses a danger to our country. It's nothing to do with national security. So far, our law and order has not broken down. We have no civil unrest, civil destabilization. We have no civil threat that can threaten public order that the police can't handle at this stage. So the Zambia army must retreat to the barracks. The Zambia army's role is to protect the territorial integrity of our country, and they should not be deployed on civilians and civil matter. The police are capable. If there is anyone carrying arms among the miners, our police are well trained to deal with that situation. So I think that's the issue we are discussing. Now, all of you are calling me about what has happened where there were nominations at so-called Tonse Danpule and our dear brother Mporokoso MP, Brian Mundubile, filed in his nominations, and you want my answer. First of all, I'm a founder member of the Tonse. The President Edgar Lungu appointed me as deputy spokesperson to Mr. Sean Tembo. So I know what is happening at Tonse, the so-called Tonse. From our party, I think the Central Committee discussed that process is totally legal. And the party has been very clear. Whoever will participate in that illegal process should consider themselves expelled. We are yet to write a formal statement, but what I know is that the party discussed this matter at its last Central Committee. It declared that process illegal because President Edgar Lungu left Honorable Given Luwinda as acting chairperson, and nothing has changed. The chairperson of Tonse Alliance remains Given Luwinda. Where a few people have broken away and are beginning a process, that process by the party has deemed it illegal. It's totally illegal. And unfortunately, whoever is involved in it should consider themselves expelled. It's an ugly conclusion, but we are yet to issue a statement. When I'm done with this broadcast, I'll consult with Lusaka. But inferring from the last decisions that were made by the Central Committee last week, I know that they forbade any of our members from participating in that process that the young man, that Zumani Zimba, is doing. They said the only ECL movement is the one that President Edgar Lungu left, which is the Patriotic Front, with its leadership led by Given Luwinda, with its Central Committee, and with its MPs. If there are people breaking away from there, unfortunately, that process is illegal. And we will inform you formally. I was a spokesperson to Sean Tembo. I was appointed by President Edgar Lungu. So I'm aware and I know what Tonse is and the recent events. But the party has been very categorical. There's no Tonse without Edgar Lungu. The so-called expulsion that took place, we've not accepted it. We've said that's an illegal process. What Zuman is doing, the nominations, and people that wish to participate in it have taken a huge risk against their membership with the Patriotic Front. So that has to be made very clear. People are saying we are fighting too much, but some crises are self-created like this. How do you participate in a matter declared illegal by your party unless you have firmly decided to part ways with the Patriotic Front, unless you've decided, like Robert Chavinga did, unless you have decided to do that. Can what Zuman is doing be legal? No, it can't be legal. It is illegal. It's been declared so by the Central Committee. You can't even blame Given Luwinda. It has been a collective decision of the Central Committee. What about people purporting that what is present there is an ECO movement? How can it be? Edgar Lungu left Given Luwinda and Raphael Nakachinda, Secretary General, and all of us, we have presidential candidates. What will you do with all of us as presidential candidates? What will you do? You are doing what Miles Sampa did. You are doing what Robert Chavinga did. So what will you do with Emmanuel Mwamba? with Dr. Shitaru Chilufya, with Grefford Monde? What will you do with all these presidential candidates? Willa Joseph Mdolo, Dr. Chimbaka Mbwili, Mutoto Kafwaya. What will you do with all these presidential candidates? Chanda Katotobwe. Is there anyone that I've left out? Yeah. What will you do with all these presidential candidates? You go on a solo process? No, but each organization has discipline. Even in our diminished capacity now, even if we look weak and finished, you can't do illegal things. So a formal statement to be issued by the party. I'm yet to get instructions. I was just filling you in because you keep on asking me about this matter. Hey, what about the process that took place today? What about the process that took place from what the Central Committee decided last week? We said that process by Zumani Zimba is illegal, and we urged none of our members to participate. The Patriotic Front has a contest that is coming up. Whether it has been delayed or not is no excuse for anyone to abandon that process. It's no excuse at all for anyone to abandon that process. Remember when our dear brother Mao Sampa says, you are late, you are failing to get a leader. That's why I held the conference. It's the same way. If anyone is holding a conference away from the legitimate entity of President Edgar Lungu, they are in rebellion, but will issue a formal statement. So at least munkonge mwachila ipusha mwewa once mulei ipusha pali ifyo, but we are discussing the issue of illegal mining and what has happened at Tonse. For us, we have not recognized that entity from day one. We have our own presidential candidates. So our members are going to choose on those presidential candidates, not a single separate process.
Mweva mjina nemri Kristu munawa Archdiocese wa Kasama na tuyibimbe pamo mukulosha Benedict Mwamba abali abasanu babachiti mukulu kabiri natutume n'amashuri ya Kirigisi ifo bonse mu Archdiocese wa Kasama kuri mwine Lubemba n'olukwalo wako n'Olubemba lonse akulufya bamali wesu abone sasa ndele ukutina mu busanzu bw'insu ile somo ine uwaishiga nshita akatufiga mu cyaro ele kabiri ile somo ine uwaishiba ifyo aba no kutulambula ngatufumya mu cyaro esubiro twakwato kuti info atembe
mashu ya ndosha yo bachira tupela ba Archbishop bashikofa bakalamba abakasama Archdiocese pali ba mayo ba Benedict Mwamba Watushile. Yes, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Yeah, Mlinga Boniface Chingola ba Mwamba.
Mkwai
ba Mwamba nala chilanda musango funga fueba kwa tumtuma wa chipani cha PF. Intungulushi tukwete shonse included na mwe ba Mwamba.
Mkwai
alami bitapo kandidatira tumusukubi obifye mpanga tamwate mwe charo cha Zambia ba Mwamba mwebe ni mwakula sobolola ngatwalite mu charo cha Zambia ififire kitika ati tukana nakaire fikitiki ififya tsikire ngefe mule Londro pali ba Mao Sampa ya kitika pona kuli ba nani bachabinga fikitire kitika ichalo cheso akuchiri shosho tukwete naponga lupia mutemenwe ukana temu mechalo cha Zambia ishingesho because ndeti analolesha ndemo nakwati chalo cheso natukwate ntungulushi chitemeno lupia ukuchiro kutemwe chalo cha Zambia onena ma problems tulepita mu chalo cha Zambia ama problems tulepitamo lolesheni ba Mwamba ilelo tamufiri okulalandira kuli icho chalo mufiri okulandira muri kino chalo lero balata balelo lesha bajeje banda info yaba etika cha kwa Lungu tatwa ishiwa apo balala nopo bakalala again twaisa lolesha kufintu ifire kitika moneni maseuzi abantu ofeberikere ubwingi abayingira mu maseuzi ushikwena kuti twakano kukwata fentungurusha kuti laveshate ko mutima chamuno kwebati tuchite chintu chimwe chakutira tuchite democracy muchalo n'abana bakesaisa bakese monevi ivintu vile chitika nshishive ngani kumbali nshinala mono kwebati kwekuli bwino nangu kwekushiri bwino because chile moneke chimfulumfulu so no kuitampana tambokula munati ucha abantu kuisoko balefu kulefu mama kaya kula kwa tendalama ngukupelwa because abechi lipofe kupelwa kwa ndalama ubutunguru chibonze fefe ndeo mwana bamwamba tuchiri tule pepero kai tule lole shoko bati kwena chachina nga chakwa tukutuwa ba elo kairi ine pali finde mi mwana fe bonze mwana tunguru chi nga chakutiro yumu ni nani magebi zolo naonga ine mitima tulelanda nemfo yaba yedika lungu nga mwalileta pa public ivi tulelanda na imwe ne bamwamba bengi bonze okunga balishi bukoko batishe mwaenda nifinefi bati umutima kwa muni nani magebi zolo tuwatotera paukana itana disappoint abafyashiba na Esther Lungu because ngachali ni aba tulemona abengi bana Esther Lungu ngabalishire bata disappoint palast ukuba disappointed bali kwati wala abafye spokesperson ngabayishire tola kofe chola chandalama baba shano kubasha lelo untanjire sokwali twala bipepela anti wakabitse expose mukaba expose inchire mifunyamu bamwamba ndemibika munimbo mfye chibemba chakutiro musukuwe wise mpanga twakula mpepela lesa okutaka bitse expose one day mwaka shala ele moneka monesho wale tontonka atotera nshkwete amashora kulanda.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Colleagues, we are discussing illegal mining in Zambia and the proposed solutions. And I took time to propose some solutions of what should be done. And military solution is not one of them. And I've argued that public order has not broken down to an extent where you require especially a specialized unit of the Zambia army. No. Ichochakana. And it's dangerous to deploy the army to a civilian process. You risk a lot of things. So I think that's what we've been discussing. And the presence of foreigners, they are the buyers of the gold that our children are digging. Because you don't have a legal market, establish a legal market. The PF had started with Zambia Gold. It became the buyer of gold. That way it is easier. Bamunkonge ababwera bamunkonge iyo bane imwe umutima waba kuzambia ngaine nangu mwikala ku South Africa umutima waba kuzambia so landeni po tumfwe
ndempo kurondora kweba mwamba bantu abengi bamufafye ati illegal mines kwatimbishe lero kwali kajamu karuru kulya gamwa karuru kulya ambassador mulea grave ya rufwanyama rufyanama ashara mulea fye kwa koko kuma kambiro kuro kwali kambiro kwa kuchipupush kwali ba emerald kulekwa ba umugodi wa kwa gonase musenesene haikala kuburangiriro ukitoko ekwa bacheiti yabo ngama muslim no MP tukwete oyibe bati pavyuma baendere na mawe pali no chitabe na Zambia bali upana bangashe bakulira mu mawe pali ba emerald kulya so efya kwe bati fibarera nda chama foreigners chabashani apa bamwamba iriri ashiria illegal mines lero lyambao ero talia kwa tori kanso ukuru because barabantu amasenesene bale shiba uko ba market ya mawe so barabantu pakuba kuisha grafino mulanda ba ZCCM na bazamu god baingira mu bambo kushita ku bantu abantu tete bashitisheriwe kuri gonazi tete bashitisheriwe ku musenesene oli wanzi baraba mu kushita mabwe kulena Zambia abayichenga baremba ira ine migoti yao barabara mu kubenderera nga basangeriwe bashita kuri barabene barera ndata amaforena nomba government bayalire mu kushita mabwe kuri barama illegal mines barera ndako pamutengo opsene kupana barama ama foreigners abene kutuba mona vya chao kuleta kuri Tuluktiva yafe not na makanomba. The main reason abengita bakonke fintu. Muzambia muno ama company yonse na abapera ama private. Kwambira kuma toll gates, kuma right. Yonse fie na bapokorola kuri government. Bapera ama private. Tokora kuma mines kuya. Balipanga ama deal. Balipanga ama deal yako ebati. Kuli abantu aba small scale mines. Bali equalize now kuma outside. Dukubo mshama cooperative certificate ya nani kane ya kuzambia. Then abantu abali kunoona nkumju kwa shara. Ba pushing ama papers ya lamwachirara ndapo wa mwamba. Okisa chasa ove. Pakwe bati government ya chitashani. Yaba funding abaza mkupange nugojumo. In partnership na wama Zambia nzama katati. So awawareta mpia ma whistleblowers. Because barawa kwa tama deal na government. Ngabambo kuchita operate kurokuli barawa barera ndati wa iliko. Bararoresha nge machine ya isasha. Ngabana bobafuma kwifu. Baraba ma whistleblowers. Bamwamba bara myewa chakuno. Bara tipoka. So first thing. Ngabata tusha bari aba kwa tama small scale mines. Abare bombana baria. Ama investors bawo. Abafuma mu byaro fingi. Baraba soja bakara gatinga tetule yako no kushbe file chitika. Kuli ama operations bari bapera ama papers bali sign afyonse bari sta take over shia. Shire mikonti bari sokora byaba bena Zambia kuba sokora kubafunyako. Aba soja bena bakara gatinga pe. Abo bena masoko investors bawo na ma cooperatives yabo bakambona kola sta operate. Tapali issue imbyabo. Because state was still operating kuliwa ama common Zambian. Baka taking ama pictures, no kumitumira bamwa. Tonse file chitika bakambokura bakaba ma whistleblowers. So bare wa nyanchende. Bakwe bati deal ba womba. Ukutisha indirect. Infira ile miganda ama small mines ba lishitisha kati. So bakwe bati bo ba lishitisha bambe okusta operate. Bambe no kula ya wulu. Efili iliya.
Thank you very much. I will let you know because we'll be closing soon. If you have anything to say, call now. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Calling from Osaka, yes. Mwamba inendande ko ninji shiba topic ya Pama Mines. Like everyone has said, like the previous caller has said, you know, there's a lot that we can talk about. But at the moment, amaboko yesu yali tight because we don't know really what is happening. Like somebody that mentioned to say, it's like it's just a vehicle that they want to use. The actual plans that they have, we don't know. Because abantu before tabalaisa mu government, bakweta amapanga yengi sana, amaplans yengi sana. Kudia ababene ba illegal shining mining, bakweta amapanga yasuma sana, but tapale foto mwene. Fyonse fyali akatuishinga fyaya mu drainage akatuishinga fyaya kuisa tetu ishibe. Nombandande ko participate chesu. The reason that everyone wants to associate with PF, they know very well to say PF taya shaking up. Background PF opoyaba. Ama structures yon say they are the full impact. And I want to agree with you, Ambassador. Given Rubinda, tapere fobare rufianya. Bare following a procedure. Look at what happened Chawama by-elections. Who delivered that win? It is the same given Rwanda that some people are condemning. And they were given Rwanda very quiet to feel straight win. And the reason why everyone will say, I want to associate myself with PF is because they know to say, if they stand, particularly PF, now structures here are intact and they will have votes. But what we want, we are praying to God Almighty so that atupele amano, atupele wisdom, leso mwine. Bakwe bati atupele ntunguru shiringa imo, tukwate one leader who is going to stand against the Akainde Chilema. We want everyone to exercise their rights, to stand, and the people will decide to say, this is the one that we want to go with. And that person should stand and liberate us Zambians, because honestly speaking, tuachula pafula, and you, our leaders, we are looking up to you to come up with a very good strategy to liberate us common Zambians. Like my brother who said to say, Mwamba ambassador, you're not supposed to be talking from where you are. You're supposed to be here in Zambia. But because of some it's interference tickets was unfair. Muri ukoko muri where's JJ Banda? We've failed to bury our father because of it's interfering with. So I thought to refer to Zambia, but 13 August, even liberated. Uyu muntu ngaapita ndemyewe shinka ngaapita akainde chilema tukachula sote ntumfwane tuikachishanye tusitechalinga. Thank you so much Mwamba.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Hello caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Mwamba ambassador fwewe Zambians fwewe karakunani. Kwa papa kunonkwai.
Endita. Oh, Mr. Mabo from Italy. My brother, make your contributions.
Ambassador, I hope Murife will know.
Mkwai, kulishan ku Italy.
Kwena kulisha wino, kuno weather iliko gloomy, but I think better than most Scandinavian countries. We have an issue. But you know, fellow Africans, kuma Norway, kuma Sweden, weather guide that stuff affect mood. So if we today back home na ama weather yako no kuina kuma countries twice ako together frustration kufana kukutoa ku mental institution ambassador.
Mkwai, make your contributions.
Ambassador Bob Marley alikuwa tolo mbwa rat race shiwenga mwalimu mfwako
londolo ile niko abantu be.
He sang it in the abundance of water, a fool is thirsty, rat race. In the abundance of water, a fool is thirsty. He also sang that summer loves summer, summer hooligans, summer loves summer hooligans. How is it possible that former Africans, including Zambia, minerals, in the abundance of that wealth from God, I want to be our God-given blessings and rich and wealth. I think in a geriatric leaders, baby boomers, people born between 1945 and 1960 something, a problem. Mindset, there's no sense of patriotism, ambassador. There's no sense of sovereignty. I think that we even understand what sovereignty means. Or servitude, dear leadership. It's like leadership, if you na flexing. I've done so well in a life, and I've built myself a house, I have a company, I have a car. So and leadership is a blessing from God. And I hope I want to be some Zambians this time. Like if it's government, if it's government opposition, a lack of leadership. That's why if you do not feel bad. I hope kuti abantu basambire because tego atumuntu onso anonka ore chitabino mulike nchilida mfuremu amusala echo kule chulila fwewe na Zambia elo tufure twasambirira na katuishine fuingalanda patriotism it means ukutemo munowe ngesho waitemwa nga wamona abantu bare imbeni kuba so that life you should be happy for them. Then you find ways to make it orderly. In a legal manner. But if it's a takeover, they care about illegal mining because of safety reasons. No, that's very bad. Mama, a reality for former Zambians now, former blacks. It's not that because it's illegal, so it will be messy, confusion. It's not because of that. It's because you know, work hard in life. You know, you should. If foolishness, if we are poor. I hope our generation are at least millennials. Nowadays, some young leaders. But because ambassador baby boomers. There is no way to change. That's why that's why I'm coming out outrageously because it's not frustration. But look at the degeneracy. If you stick to Zambia, you might not even like the incumbent president. But as Zambians, you don't wish somebody death, ambassador. You can't be wishing somebody what you don't wish for yourself. We don't have a living former head of state. Then the president to wait. I want food to bafwe. I saw mama blogs and mama WhatsApp. You might not like maybe Baga in the H&M, but he's a Zambian and he's also a president. And that degeneracy, if you and a hateful, that's not the Zambia we know. But maybe what goes around comes back around. I hope I want to prepare. Na ambassador, people are patriotic. I want to prepare. Zambia, to vent like this. Sorry.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you very much. Mr. Mabo from Italy, our regular contributor. Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Nene ulameki ndetu minof maku kumpika kumuchinga province.
Mkwai.
Wena inokusakamana kwa ndi kulifi ndipa finto fibili fo njimini nepo. Pachi pani chesu pali party yesu ya PF na pali ba farmer fo njimini ya pene pavi. Wali number 1 ya pali ba farmer fo tuachula VC 2025 to 2024 season, farming season. Wena tuachula tuishi weka diti tuwala salapati ya tulu ule mungu shatuwapita mo. Number 2 ni pali ba PF. Ba PF tiyo nisale fio muntu blani mundu vile. Wena funa chute fio kulanda kwa ofini.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we'll be closing now. We'll be closing. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Anonymous, just within Lusaka, ambassador.
Yes, anonymous.
Yes, ambassador. I just want to comment concerning the illegal mine. What's up, ambassador? It's very disappointed concerning what is happening. On a serious note, those people. If you look at the president, the current president, into the opposition, they were talking about these illegal miners to say no, they will give them papers here and whatever. But now what is happening is contrary. This will give all of us Zambians to see what is happening. Who is this president we have? And we have to make sure that we pray more into fresh cannot whereby to the end. Wrong decision. You know, not with the on the other side, from Zambians. They got to the tourist as well. Then on the other side, just on the again. You know, UPF ambassador, too much confusion. This is when no money go to up on the other side. Because in Gapanga, 34 man, never got to ambassador question in part take off.
Iyo namkwata wa Makebi Zulu, namkwata wa Mdolo, namkwata wa Chilufia, namkwata wa Mao Sampa, namkwata wa Grefford Monde, namkwata wa Chimba Kambwidi, namkwata wa Given Winda. Mwala salapo.
Mkwa, manje, you know, Tambasa Deaza Sangati, today mwanafuti, if it is stick a foot, because I'm just split them of votes on the other side. Got was storage.
Awa bantu besu bali tulanga kuchawama. Kutuwayaze mwali mwana kuchawama twalikwete ba PF muresi bali 4. Twalikwete ba Bright Nundwe, twalikwete Muhammad Chitete, twalikwete ba Captain Muleng. All these are PF members. but abantu besu bali mwene wa PF wa chishinka ni nani bali salile so mwilasa kama na our people are wise
na imwe kairo po mlipima contesta so tuonse ture kwa doksa kama na ushe ture akuisa kundanju
hao chachi nokusa kama na kona tufile twakwata
tapira folks splitting ama votes on the other side so ture lomba I confusion yonze ile ko kushika so as tukarubulire country yesu mama
mkwai
so one say we are calling on board everyone to come on board to say let us choose one candidate. He wants to support each other because already we have seen Bamundu Virokwatiyo na abafuma mubasa ina nani uko which again it with confusion mama.
No, thank you very much. We're coming to, thank you very much, my caller. We are coming to the end of the program and thank you for participating in this broadcast. We're discussing illegal mining. Today, we're proposing solutions. We just didn't condemn the acts of illegal mining. We just didn't condemn the remarks of the army commander. We spent time to propose solutions, drawing lessons from what happened in the illegal mining that first Zambia saw in Lufwanyama, where there was emerald mining, which resulted in the formation of Kajem as a ZCCM vehicle to mine emeralds. There was an invasion of Senegalese, Malians, and Nigerians that had come into Kitwe because they were the only buyers when the illegal process of emerald mining was taking place. Government regularized that. We can learn from that past. We can learn from Ghana. Ghana has also very, very clear way in which they've currently dealt with the menace of illegal gold mining. And it has brought billions of dollars within 1 year to the treasury of Ghana. It can be done. We are worried about what's happening to the illegal mining in the eastern Congo of DRC. Remember, Congo has overtaken Zambia as the largest copper producer. It was 5 years ago, it was producing 700,000 metric tons. It's now producing 3.2 million metric tons of copper, and they've shot to the top 5 in the world. As we are number 11, 12. We used to be number 1 in Africa. Now we are like number 3, 4 in Africa, and the DRC has overtaken us. But on the illegal mining, especially for coltan, the things they use for chips in Eastern Congo that has spawned that perpetual war, including the M23 and others, that war has been fueled by investors that want to buy that special rare earth metals free of charge. They literally want to get it for nothing, and they sponsor armed groupings so they can get that. That process is totally different. What's happening in Zambia is that you have discoveries of gold that is taking place in Nangoma, in Mumbwa, in Chongwe, in Nyimba, in Petauke, in Vubwi, in Kasempa, in Mufumbwe, in Solwezi. And there is no buyer. So you have Somalians, Tanzanians, Sudanese that have invaded the space and they're the legitimate buyers. So set up a company that can crowd them out of the space. Bring immigration. This is an internal matter. We have not reached a place where we have unrest in the country to the extent that you need special forces deployed in our country. That process is illegal. Those asking about what's happening at the so-called Tonse, I just gave you our position as a patriotic front. We are not part of that process. The Tonse that was left by His Excellency, the late President, Edgar Lungu, remains with Given Luvinda. Nothing has changed. The breakaway, whoever has broken away, are in rebellion of both the wishes of the late President and the process that he left. He left me as deputy spokesperson in Tonse Alliance to my dear brother, Sean Tembo. So what we have seen where Zumani has created a space and is trying to organize a Congress, that process is illegal. And our party has made it very clear, no one should participate in that process. If anyone participates in that process, they will stand in conflict with directives of the party. And, when consequences come, they should not blame anyone. And that's a position about Tonse. I stated that a formal statement will be issued. I'm yet to liaise with the leadership in Lusaka, I was speaking from the findings and directives of the Central Committee that were made last week. Just last week, we're discussing this so-called Tonse, that process that's being led by Zumani Zimba. We've said that process is illegal and the PF is not part of it. So until on Sunday, we have a special guest, Mr. Ngoma. He runs a podcast. You'll learn a lot about him on Sunday, at 20 hours. I think we have Mr. Ngoma, Joseph Ngoma, who we are hosting, who do a flyer and you know about it. So God bless you and shalom, shalom.
We have sophisticated individuals. And that is why, under the direction of the Commander-in-Chief, we have, as a lead element, the Special Forces. There is a reason for us to commit Special Forces. There is a reason. Ordinarily, I would have asked the brigade commander to get some of his troops with Zambia Air Force and go and deal with the situation. The Army commander is not saying, as part of a joint interagency operation, I will go in Mufumbe and open fire at Endo. We have targets that we are going to eradicate. And anybody, honorable minister, who is going to make a mistake of pointing a gun at the Special Forces, we will get rid of him. We will get rid of him. When I was saying there will be consequences and loss of life, when the bullet leaves the barrel, we have no control over it. It will hit this guy, it will go to the next guy, and obviously we're expecting an injury. Honorable Minister, you know that we're not going there and start killing people anyhow. We have our only targets, and those targets, we shall eradicate them. We will eradicate them by any means necessary.
Lero bwacha bakamba mu kyalo ky'esu kya Zambia ekyaweka Enjoy. Abantu baafo bakamba kule mu nfumbwe. More than 20 people balebe pati ni babiri. Bagamba. Fish to arufyanya. People have died. Mumino yabakapokola. The police killing people. Why? In the same government bagamba. Abductions have happened. Bagamba, if you're not with them, it's either you're dead or you're in prison. This government, you're going to change, big man. Fish to Arfianya Pakubika Moves. Fish to Arfianya. Why me? Missing. Achani Rubamwaicho and Dizona. Where is why me? HH, tell us with your government, where is why me? Give us why me. Justice for why me, big man. Wachila mo HH. Wala tupwisha bega kutupwisha bagamba. Tatwale kyo kulanda big man. Oh, you think? Maina watata. Zambia tuwasevana. Bagamba. Waneza tuwa kweni. Mujala tetu. It's ya Zambia. Tuamona mwempwa. Bagao. Tuamona mwempwa. Nama abductions bagamba. Ubuteko tualeta. Wadulete lama. Amazala mush. No you can take her. Kola ipompa tuneka. No you can take her. Apa nomba bane. Mufolo pa mufolo. Mufolo pa mufolo. Wakuvota bane. Mufolo pa mufolo. Mufolo pa mufolo. Wakufuatika. Mufolo pa mufolo. Mufolo pa mufolo. Wakufuatika fuatika. Mufolo pa mufolo. Mufolo pa mufolo. When you taya kwa fwe. Mufolo pa mufolo. Mufolo pa mufolo. Aikona man. Mufolo pa mufolo. Mufolo pa mufolo. Itaya kwa fwe. Mufolo pa mufolo. Mufolo pa mufolo. Yakuliati kwenyu. Mufolo pa mufolo. Mufolo pa mufolo. Mayona batata. Ba mayona batata. bayuthi tyentuisule amenso batusendela nomba batwipaila na hope yesu endikachagwa lungu watwebela tinamikwatila plan B nomba twalishi ba plan B abamumino yakwalesa bantu banga abalafa mukyalo kyesu kya Zambia nibanga abantu abala ababducted mukyalo kyesu kya Zambia bambire kuli jeje banda nibanga abantu abala ba prison abena kitotela kilangwa bonze baba prison n'entunguru shina shimbi muri one government yakwa ejeje abantu n'abafa mwereza ayigata nomba bayigata kuli endikachagwa lungu atukwatile plan B abakubo byabyo mufulo big man mufulo birabine batsendela endikachagwa lungu abanomba bane mufulo bakuvota bane mufulo bakufuatika mufulo bakufuatika mufulo kwenyu tayakwa fwe mufulo aikona man mufulo itayakwa fwe mufulo yakuliati kwenyu mufulo HH does not mean well for Mother Zambia. Zambia to Asebana, this is not the Mother Zambia that we were left with by our ancestors, our forefathers who fought so hard to liberate us. Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, Nalumino Mundia, Mama Julia Chikamoneka, Simon Mwansaka Pwepwe, they fought so hard to put this country on the map, to put this country where it is today. No man would destroy this country because we believe in unity. One Zambia, one nation, and we shall together we will change, and we are going to change this government. My name is Blaze Zambia.